And hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's three. It's I almost said 3 o'clock. I say, people, guys. I know you're used to watching me at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but today it's a special day for me because we're doing a 6 o'clock show, and I'm excited for our special guest. But before our special guest, I want to show you something just to set the mood. So here we go. Uh, Wait first. Our special guest obviously is of course hindi na natin to igagawing secret because our special guest basically is Secretary Berna Romulo Puyat. Nautal ako, but kaya ako, I'm nervous. Actually, when you think about it, I'm getting nervous because I don't get this special guests every time. And then now, pinagbigyan ho tayo because of our busy schedules also. Kaya I love this that not only that, we're gonna talk about also how how we're all attached to travel. So here you go. I want to show you something first. Wow, it's the first time I saw that. It's very nice. It was sent to me by none other than welcome, Secretary
Mm.
Berna Romulo Puyat. How are you?
How are you? And thank you for inviting me, Raymond. Thank you. And thank you for showing that video.
Yes, I'm also putting your IG account in the screen. I hope you don't mind because people
No, no,
actually do
that's
follow
okay.
you. Yes. So how are you? I mean, I just the first time I saw the video. When was this released? I'm
Um,
curious.
yeah, we released it during the ECQ. These were actually videos. We made videos for all the regions. And exacto, we started it off as Wake Up. And then exacto during the ECQ, we just made it lang stay home, dream, and wake up in the Philippines. So that was like a compilation of all the videos that we did for every region. Because we noticed nga
Uh,
people were having cabin fever. And then, so
so
that was one way of, and in even our foreign uh, partners, they keep asking, when can we go to the Philippines? Of course, there are travel restrictions everywhere, but we noticed that people, it's still top of mind. I think even Carmela was with us, with our Australian partners, and that was the number one question: when can we go to the Philippines?
okay, I throw that question to you. Okay, wait, before we do that, can I welcome Carmela Bocanegra? Hello, Carmela. Okay, I can't hear you, but your
Yeah,
voice
you're
is
you're mute, Carmela.
Carmela. I can't hear you. Your microphone is muted.
Mm-mm.
There.
There
There, yeah,
you go. Hello, Carmela.
Hi,
Yeah,
Secretary.
Carmela.
Good evening. Hi, Raymond. Thanks for
So,
inviting.
well, we're all. This is not a formal thing. There's no webinar. There's no presentation. There's no nothing.
Yeah.
So we're just
At
going to.
last, it's not a
Yeah.
webinar. We've had so many webinars with Secretary Berna. So many. So she's answered all the questions we had before.
mm-mm. It's
Oo,
all
wala na,
about
chika lang
work,
po.
more formal,
Kaya
yeah.
nga we're doing quarantine chikahan eh.
And
So,
in fact, Carmela was with us when we met with our Australian partners.
Yes,
yes, you were
correct.
saying,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
So I have a question. So going back to the same thing. So people are asking, when can we travel again? Yun ang basic question ng lahat ng
Okay,
tao.
when it comes to domestic tourism, when a province or a spot is already under modified GCQ, they can already accept tourists, but
Mm,
50% only. And of course, di ba, the modified GCQ, it says may a bit strict pa because hindi pwedeng over 60 and below 20 because that's modified GCQ preparing you for the new normal. Now, the only
correct.
ones that can accept under modified GCQ are those places also under modified GCQ. Unfortunately, NCR, we're still under a general community quarantine. Only essential travel is allowed. So I know that everybody is really trying to stay home because we all want to be also under a modified GCQ so we can finally travel all around the
Nali
country.
nalilito na nga kami kasi may
Oo, sa mga
modified,
queue.
street.
Oo,
Wala bang parang vitamin fortified GC ano, quarantine?
oo, L-carnitine. Oo, L-carnitine with ginkgo biloba.
Hindi
Yes.
ko actually, pati ako nalito hindi ko tuloy alam may vitamin ba 'tong quarantine na 'to kasi iba-iba na ang tired natin,
Oo,
but I know I'm
Wala,
just joking, of
quarantine
course.
cocktail.
quarantine. But okay, right now, so we started off with ECQ. And
Right,
then after that was a modified ECQ, parang in preparation for what we have now, which is the GCQ.
the
That's it.
general.
So after
Pero
that, for modified GCQ, that's in preparation na for the new normal.
parang natatakot ako sa new normal. Kaya do you have an idea? Because of course this is the wrong ano to do it now at this point, but this is between us girls. Us girls talaga.
As
Do you have
girls.
more or less an idea or chismis na when will we return to a non-GCQ type of, uh
You mean no quarantine at all? When there is a
parang
vaccine.
okay, next year pa tayo
Mm-mm.
ang
Carmela knows this. The new normal will always be number one, physical distancing. Number two,
okay,
wearing a mask. And number three, hand sanitizers, or you always have to wash your hands. Which
Yeah.
is
so
sad
the
with the tourism industry because the tourism industry is about being with a lot of people, touching people,
yeah,
it's personal.
it's
But
so
because of this virus, it's quite new.
uh,
It's like everybody all over the world, we're all like in kindergarten. We're all looking at each other. Sometimes I text my fellow tourism ministers and I ask them, hey,
okay,
what are you doing right now? It's
oh,
like we're like in grade school and asking, what are you doing? And then, oh, are you okay? Are there any outbreak? So it's
ah,
like a watch. We wait and see what the others are doing. So like
okay.
recently, I told them, hey, we're already GCQ. Some already are modified GCQ, so they're asking me, what are you going to do? So it's like there's no best practice actually. So we're
Because it's the
all
first time. This is the first time in the world na this happened.
It's
So,
happening.
mm-mm.
So
And that's
It's
why I
something.
always tell everybody, including our stakeholders, whatever protocols we have now, it's not cast in stone. It will always change as we get to know more of the virus, as we get used to the new normal. So
correct.
this is forever changing, and it's not like before. Like there's a handbook on the best practices. We are now making the handbook for COVID as we speak.
Yeah.
Wow, ikaw, I mean, tourism, the Department of Tourism is doing the handbook for COVID?
At least for the tourism
Okay,
industry. But of
okay.
Yeah,
course,
but
Carmela knows we're in touch with like before we gave out the safety and health protocols
guideline.
or the guidelines. We,
Uh,
we we gave this to all our stakeholders. That was like a questionnaire, a long questionnaire,
Yes.
okay.
asking. We have a very, you cannot do this without the private sector because
Yes.
they're the ones on the ground. So we're policy, but we have to always talk to the private sector. And of course, once we are under the modified GCQ, when we have 50% of tourists, even the private sector will see what works and what doesn't work. Sometimes it's
That's
even
true.
the private sector that tells me, wag na muna yan.
Mm.
Delikado. So, yun na nga, it's very important to be partners with the
Collaborative.
private sector, yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
which we appreciate, Raymond, kasi during this time of critical situation, we really appreciate in the private sector the collaborative cooperation between the government reaching out to us in the private sector, to our associations, through the hotel owners and all the other travel agency associations. It's really an ongoing consultation, I would say. And then, of course, the final direction comes from the government or the Department of Tourism, but it's been consulted. We may not get everything we want, or
of
actually,
course,
we
yeah.
don't really, we're just really waiting for the guidelines. And basically, the guidelines are practical and simple, and parang obvious ba we have to do this because it's a health thing. It's a it's a health thing. It's the first
It's a
time that
health
this.
issue. Oo, it's a health issue naman talaga.
Yeah.
Well, I'm confused. I'm coming from a traveler's point of view. I know you guys are doing anything, doing everything to push tourism, and but it's a non-essential lumalabas. Am I correct so far?
Tourism is
So, but
non-essential.
yeah, but there's a gray line. I mean, there are people who have no work, and we all want to help each other. So one of the things I actually posted is that kung pwede na tayong bumiyahe, let's all do local tourism first or
Yes,
local
yes.
destination first.
Exactly.
Kasi let's help each other. Nandun na yung hotel, nandun na yung mga small scale industries that are ano. I
Mm,
mean, yun na ano natin. Kaya lang nga, yun na nga, some people will say, kasi of course, alam mo naman dito sa internet, sa digital world, may mga gusto lang may masabi na hindi naman yan essential, Raymond, pang mayaman lang yan yung mga travel na ano natin.
mm.
So well, how
Um,
do you deal? How do you deal with these people? Especially ikaw, Secretary Burns. How do you deal with people who actually just love to talk and not actually think about the questions or the emotions or the post that
marami yan. But then you learn how to find out like like normally if you talk to the associations,
Uh-huh.
your stakeholders, they will also really naman give you what they what they think would be good for the industry. But of course, maraming mga tanong sa akin, especially when the ECQ started, kailan ba matatapos ang COVID? Which I could not answer obviously. Oo,
I, may nagta-
parang
God
I would
knows.
actually get that question when we had the ECQ every single day. Somebody would ask me, kailan matatapos ang COVID? But
yeah.
then, you answer na lang as much as you can. Na you say na, well, the whole world is hit by COVID and we're all praying that somebody has a vaccine. I would actually,
Yeah.
di ba, it sounds funny, but I guess maybe because people were locked up, there was anxiety. Do you remember, Raymond, you told me you put up this quarantine chikahan for people
Yes.
to be able to deal with quarantine. And I guess
Yes.
Anxiety.
And
it
Yeah.
came from fear na it sounds funny na now, but I guess but with me, I never think of it as parang at the start I was going, why am I being asked? Because I'm not naman a doctor. Oo. But then I guess when you really think about it, it was they were worried. They were maybe because they
yeah.
lost their jobs, and
A
people at
lot.
the
A lot.
start could not understand ano ba ito? Bakit why are we stuck inside our homes?
Homes.
And then eventually people realized that it was the whole world, hindi lang Pilipinas. And
Eventually, yeah.
people like maybe they thought at first na baka Pilipinas lang. And then when they started to see, we would have webinars. Alam ni Carmela yan with WTTC, yesterday with UNWTO.
Yeah.
So they show what is happening all over the world. Yun ang
Oh.
nangyayari. Or before, when will tourism start? Now, at least I have an answer. Before, I really could not give an answer because, again, the virus is quite new. And at the time
Uh,
when they were asking me, when will tourism start? Spain was, di ba, at the start,
cl-
Spain was saying they'll start pa daw
yeah.
January. Italy also
Correct.
said the same thing. Japan canceled all visas. It's
Yes.
practically the whole world has travel restrictions. In fact, right now, the questions that I get every day are, kailan ba pupunta dito si si Yun Bin? Yan ang question palagi sa akin everyday. Gusto
Oh
niya
my God.
namin makita si yung Bin. Kailan ba siya dadating dito? So I have to explain na in Korea, it's discouraged actually for them to travel. In fact,
Really?
in all over the world, it's maybe they'll say we're partially restricted, but if you go to Korea, you have to first test negative. And then when you test negative, you have to stay in a room for 14 days. And then you
Oh
have like
no.
you have a band. If you leave the room, iingay yan. And then you have to pay 10 million won.
Oh no. Parang yung kinakabit nila sa prisoners na
Yes.
pag tumatakas, parang
Oo.
ayoko yata ng situation na
Oh,
yun.
but I guess with them kasi they're very strict about contact tracing. Ayaw nilang makawala. In Hong Kong, it's the same. They also have like, it's like an a watch.
I what? Yeah.
And then you, so they know where you are. You cannot leave for 14 days. More of
Oh
to
my God.
ensure na, so with some of them, that's their way of saying, don't come here because maybe because they have not, di ba may nagkaka-outbreak pa rin eh. In the
Correct.
Mm.
Meron pa
Philippines,
rin.
we canceled all visas. Although we're already talking because we're lucky. Actually, the Philippines were quite lucky because we have 7,641 islands. Hindi na 7,107. It's 7,641 islands. And the beauty of the Philippines, for example, Bohol, I think they only have 2 cases of COVID positive. But
Uh-huh.
ano pa yon, yung returning resident and naka-quarantine. So basically, Bohol is COVID-free. And then we
Wow.
have Boracay. Boracay, as I
Ah,
know,
yes,
is also COVID-free. So,
yes.
Free.
and Palawan is also COVID-free. Like El
Yeah,
Nido is COVID-free.
I can't
So
travel to
The
Palawan yet.
island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's what we're looking now. That's what you call either you call it travel bubble, travel corridor, or green corridor.
In
Now, in
corridor. Yeah.
cases where you practically have no COVID cases or bumababa yung cases,
Correct.
you can actually talk to another country and say, and guess what? We have 12 international airports. Bohol has an international airport. Boracay may international airport.
Oh.
Pwede na silang
Pwede.
dumiretso doon. Diba? So,
Pero hindi ka ba natatakot? Like, kunyari, there is an international airport, Bohol, Cebu, tapos meron tayo sa Clark, na some of these people might come in, actually might carry the virus also to,
what
con-
we're discussing, let's say in Bohol, Governor Yap wants an RT-PCR lab, a swab lab, a COVID lab to
okay.
be built. So everybody that enters has to be tested. And then within a few hours, you'll find out kung positive or negative. Kasi
Oh.
ngayon kasi the trend is whenever they travel, you have to stay 14 days. Ang gusto natin, sana wala na yung 14 days kasi wala namang turista na will stay and then you're going to stay inside the room.
For
So
two
that's what
weeks
we're
mostly, yeah.
for 2 weeks and then inside the room.
It's
Like
not a
imagine, I even ask about Korea. Oh, can I go to Korea? If I stay in Lotte, can I go around shopping? Hindi pwede. You stay inside the room.
Oh
So
no. Eh, what if,
want sana, like for example, Bohol, even in Boracay, we're actually going to Boracay next week, Thursday,
oh,
Friday.
really?
okay.
And,
Sama ko.
and then military plane kami, Raymond, eh. So
Oh,
baka
Kaya
maloka ka.
kukunan kita ng litrato, libre na ho yun.
Oo, and then we're building a lab also because it's also
Wow.
for the comfort of the people na whoever enters, domestic or
Island.
foreigner, they tested COVID negative. So it's also the tourism industry, we have to do this because magkaisang outbreak, let's say, God forbid, in Boracay, it will not only
Correct.
destroy Boracay, but the whole country that we do not know how to handle. So we are
Yeah.
doing this very slowly, cautiously,
Too early.
because we want to be a model for, we were able to handle, kahit na walang vaccine, we're able to handle it pretty well.
Handle that. I'm not because I'm talking to you right now, but I know you guys are working that we don't know. And then when the news comes out that you've worked and then may press release kayo about this, I do follow you, I do stalk you, forgive me on that level. But the point is, now that I'm talking to you, it's such a breath of fresh air that you're talking on the sense na naintindihan ka namin more as
Thank
compared to,
you.
no offense to the not of no offense to the news agencies that I'm saying, but I'm like, now I feel comfortable that, like what you said, there is a travel bubble that you said
Pwede
kanina,
yun.
or
Pwede yung
destination.
travel bubble, green corridor, or travel
Ang
bubble
ang
na.
ganda,
Mm-mm.
ang
It
ganda,
makes
ang
it
ganda ng
makes
ano.
sense.
And
Oo. We
There's
don't have
I'm
to
sorry.
sell the country as one. You can sell it per island na where it's
Oh,
COVID free. It makes sense. But of course now, we start muna with domestic tourism.
correct.
Hello. By the way, you know that domestic tourism last 2019 contributed 1.9 trillion.
A
So,
trillion.
trillion, hindi mo pwedeng small ang domestic tourism ha. We had 111 million domestic tourists last 2019. So in fact,
Oh,
we had a webinar yesterday. I'm not sure if Carmela attended. They even mentioned that domestic tourism is quite strong in the Philippines. Kasi ganda-ganda naman kasi ng bansa natin eh. I mean,
oo
we're
naman.
so lucky that we were talking to people in Spain. They're waiting for summer. Tayo summer lagi. We have the most beautiful beaches. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, there's a
So,
lot of nice places to go to. Hindi pa nga natin napupuntahan lahat eh. So that's the priority now, the domestic
like
travel.
now, NCR, once modified GCQ na tayo, I can see people by land muna yan. They'll probably go muna the millennials will go to either Baler or La Union.
Pareho
Oo.
tayo ng sinabi. Kasi yung
Tagaytay.
Yun ang,
pamangkin ko, gano'n rin ang ano, yung mga millennials, yun ang gusto nila.
yun ang gusto nila. But then mga mastitas will go to Baguio.
Ayoko
Tagaytay.
Nakakatawa si
mag-Baguio.
Carmela, Tagaytay. I
Tagaytay.
thought Mayor Magalong, I'm actually very impressed with the mayor. During the time of the ECQ, na-control na niya yung COVID sa Baguio. So I asked him,
True.
when do you plan to open tourism in Baguio? September pa. And then I said, why September pa? He goes, because I want when I open, hindi magkaka-outbreak. I have contact tracing. I have physical distancing. And I want that anybody that goes to Baguio will know that he or she is safe.
That's
So,
nice to hear.
ang galing, no? So now when Baguio finally opens, I'd be very excited because I know I'm safe.
Hindi lang yun. There's also another side to that. I'm glad that the Baguio is opening their doors towards September. Correct, sabi mo September.
Mm.
But I know there are some provinces, despite the fact na they're COVID-free, uh, ayaw ng local government pumasok ang tao, natatakot sila baka makontaminate daw yung mga tao. Tama yung
Um,
chismis to ha.
Oo, like in Bohol, baling ginagawa lang nila, ika-quarantine na lang muna nila. That's why what we're going to do in all our tourist spots, we will have COVID labs, yung testing labs. I think that will help even the local governments when there's a testing lab. So bago pumasok, kung mag-test negative, then pwede na. And then the gold standard, of course, is the RT-PCR, the swab test.
Of course, yun nga sinasabi nila parati ng ano doon. I love the way you're telling us all of this kasi ngayon mas naaatis ako, and then I'm coming from a point na lahat kami, atat na kami, nakulong na kami sa bahay for what? How many days na ba tayo? Are we 80,
Almost
70 something days
90
na?
days. Almost 90.
Mhm.
Almost
Days.
90 days? Oh my God. I mean, buti na lang I can go to my garahe and open the, and then may sunlight. Minsan nga pinapagtawanan ako ng kapitbahay ko kasi dinadala ko yung lounge chair. Kunyari may beach ako doon. Nagsa-sunbathing
Oo.
ako.
Imagine ka na lang.
But you
Wait,
know,
I have
Raymond,
to ask.
yeah. You know
No, no,
me,
you
mine
said,
was worse. I was
why?
in room quarantine for 21
Oh
days.
yeah, I remember.
What?
Because
Why?
I was exposed to 4 people who were COVID
In the
positive.
cabinet meeting.
When did this happen?
March,
March?
March 2020, basta sunod-sunod yan. They were all COVID positive. And then
Oh,
I was the name that they gave na they were in close contact with. So imagine that
3 weeks
Oh my
Talagang,
God.
in a row.
dapat 14 days lang. And then, but I didn't want to have a test because I had no symptoms. Because under the protocols, if you don't have symptoms, wag kang magpa-test. And then on my 14th day, a nurse called me and said, Ma'am, can we test you already? And then I said, wala pa akong symptoms. And then she said, there are cases that you can have the virus for 21 days. So if you don't want to have a swab test, you have to be inside your room for 21 days. So, diniretso
Oh
ko.
no.
Oh, wow.
Tagal.
But,
Oh
3
no.
weeks.
Wait, this
Yeah.
is new to me. So the if you say you can have the virus for 21 days, if ayaw mo magpa-test, wala kang choice kundi mag-ikulong mo sarili mo ng
kasi
21
you
days.
could be an asymptomatic carrier.
Para hindi ka makahawa, Raymond.
Mm-mm.
You
Correct.
just say, oo. Kasi you don't know
Oh
eh.
my
Wala
God.
kang
Eh, paano
test.
yung anak
Tapos
mo? Mga
asymptomatic.
anak mo?
Mag-isa ako sa kwarto. And then, in fact, I lost weight because before, my daughter, she put a big table outside my door.
The
Tapos,
door.
yung pagkain, huhugasin mo muna yun. Kasi syempre, when you, yung dapat hot water, dapat, kasi you don't want to contaminate anybody in the household.
Oo. Mm-mm.
Correct.
Mahirap.
Oo,
Mahirap.
ang hirap. So, I would eat once a day kasi,
What?
kasi ang hirap din maghugas, yung, di ba, paghuhugas ka ng pinggan, tapos ayaw mo nang may particles, di ba? Kasi
Well, yeah, I understand that. But apparent,
I was
oo.
napaparanoid na kung may rice na, you never know kasi with this virus. Kasi at the time pa, that was March,
Correct, correct.
you were hearing all this,
Yes.
oh wow, the
Different
paranoia.
information.
Yeah, so that was my fear. And then syempre, my glass, syempre that's only for me. Huhugasan ko pa yan ng mabuti kasi natatakot ako na baka may maghugas
Bak
na in the house, baka
na
mahawa.
maawa.
Because I didn't know whether I was COVID positive or not.
Oh my
But
God,
secretary, I
that's
remember, secretary, that was the time, March, when you were supposed to, the president was supposed to go to Boracay, remember?
Boracay.
Tapos, it was the week before the ECQ was issued. They were all the I think cabinet meeting, or the president was with secretary and some other cabinet secretaries were supposed to be in Boracay.
Yes,
It
we
was,
were supposed to go because
yeah,
the president was going to promote domestic tourism.
correct,
And
yes.
it was going to be the first time he was going to go to Boracay since it opened.
wow.
And then the night before, already a lot of the cabinet members were exposed to somebody COVID positive.
Yes,
So,
that was in the
Yes.
news.
Kaya hindi
so
natuloy.
yeah, so it became really na, and the president is 75 years old. And syempre in Boracay, hindi mo naman makokontrol yung tao. So it was decided yung imagine I think about 6 or 7 cabinet members had to do home room quarantine also because they were exposed to somebody who was COVID positive.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Okay.
So
So
kaloka
this
Raymond talaga this virus, 'di ba?
Kaloka.
I
Naloka
know,
tayo
but
lahat.
now that you're making me kwento, I'm like more now. I'm more appreciative. Again, not because you're my guest, but I'm more appreciative of you guys trying to do as much as you can. But like what you said, mga kaibigan, those who are just tuning in right now, before the show started, she came from another meeting. Secretary Berna came from another meeting, and then we were talking about how busy her schedule is. I'm just gonna ask you the same question again for the people who just tuned in
Mm.
now. How is your day? You have 3 meetings. You have 3 meetings a
Oh,
week, and that's
no,
even the
that's
start,
only
correct?
the IATF. Siguro in a day, there was a time and I was in room
Regular.
quarantine, about 7 or 8 a day. Di ba, work from home? Kasi di ba, before, we could have meetings, di ba, and then you'll go to another place. And now it's just off lang, tapos on ka ulit in another Zoom meeting. I would even have Zoom meetings minsan, 2 or 3 at the same time. Kasi now work from home kasi 'di ba everybody knows
Maraming
you're home.
trabaho.
So
Actually,
kaya nga,
maraming trabaho.
click ka
kaya
lang 'di
nga,
ba? 'Di ba we were talking, 'di ba? I said, okay, I'll click this lang, in off ko and then I'm now with you.
Yes, you were talking. I know. I feel like I'm intruding na nga in your busy schedule the way things are happening right now. But I appreciate that you're being here. But before we continue, I just really need to call out on all the people who have joined us. We have people as far as Italy. Oh my God,
Wow.
nawala na sa list ko yung mga nandito.
Dami mong
There's
followers.
Mary
They're
Grace Ramos. She was the one who told me she was so excited that I was going to be your
which
guest.
one?
She's your fan. Her
Oh,
name
okay.
is Mary Grace
Oh,
Ramos. She's your
oh,
big
okay.
fan.
Thank you. I'm sure we all share the same friends.
Oh,
Teddy
Teddy
Dario is
Teddy.
saying
Dario.
hi.
Teddy
Because
Dario.
Teddy's wife and Lupe
And
are
then,
best friends.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
ha? Si Janine?
Janine
Yes,
Dario.
Janine
Mm-hmm.
from
Alam
college.
mo, ang liit.
Assumption.
And then I'm also stressing out because my audience is also involved mga celebrities. Carmina Villaruel
Emily
is watching
Virgo.
also.
Yes. Hi, Mina.
And
I also
then
like her, Mina.
I'm saying hi to these people. Also Pinky Tobiano.
Pinky.
I'm
Hi,
sure some of you know.
Pinky. Qualibet. Yeah.
Yes. And watching also from
Oh,
Zamboanga is Mary
Zamboanga.
Grace. Mary Grace is a student, is one of those little stories that I ano also kasi nga wala silang pasok. So anong nangyari, I actually thought I was being stupid and I was just entertaining people on the show. I didn't realize she was one of those people who said, "Sir, baka akala nyo hindi kami natututunan sa sa mga kwento na nangyayari sa show ninyo." And she was one of those people who I appreciate because sabi niya, you don't realize how much help you've actually given us. Not only have you alleviated the anxiety, but you also give us information that we want to know. Na we're afraid to ask. So I'm glad. Lani Matugas is from Siargao. Their
Siargao.
family is there.
Siargao. Of
Yes. So
course. That's one of our top tourist sites,
Mm-hmm.
Siargao.
I love Siargao also. So I'm like, I'm confused. Wait, you know what? That's a nice question. I forget about muna all these things that were ano now. You as a secretary of tourism, these are the things people want to know. What without putting down the other places in the Philippines, but do you have a favorite place to visit in the Philippines?
Actually, because each place has its own unique quality. For
Okay,
example, when you talk about Boracay, that's like our it's the white sands, and that's like our for sustainable tourism. And when you talk about sustainable tourism, and
correct.
when you want to talk about what's number one in the Philippines, that they follow environmental laws,
Beach.
everywhere in the world they talk about Boracay.
Yes.
Yes,
Correct. It
Boracay.
seems to be the
One
the
of the
one
best
that's
beach in the
One of
that
the
people
in
first
the
think of.
world.
Yeah.
For example, maybe for diving, people would go to Palawan. It also depends on what your interests are. Palawan is so
Correct.
beautiful also for diving.
I saw.
Um,
Wait. I saw your
even
pictures
Bohol.
of Palawan also.
Oo, my son kasi is there.
Up to
Oo.
now?
Na-stop.
Oo.
It's still
At
there, Sec,
Oo,
until now?
at the start, I couldn't kasi I couldn't bring him with the stranded foreigners. And then nung
Okay.
domestic tourists na, we had sweeper flights. I asked him if he could come home, and then he said, "Mom, I'm not a domestic tourist. I work here. People will say that you're wrong, so I'll stay here." But
Yeah.
naisip ko bigla, baka naman may girlfriend ka dyan, ha? Kaya ayaw mo umuwi. Oo, parang baka kunyari pa lang na, "Ay, Mom, I don't want,
Posible.
Oo, so so sabi ko pa, "Anak," but he doesn't have social media. Sabi ko, "Anak, baka naman ibang test kitang mag-positive, ha?" Ano, ako
No,
he's
tsaka secretary,
23 years old.
it's better
Oh
kasi if
my
you're
God.
quarantine lang na rin naman, siguro maganda rin ma-quarantine in such a beautiful island like
Yeah.
Palawan since hindi ka naman alabas
But
here in
but
Manila.
but at the
Okay
start
lang.
kasi, he was a bit worried. He goes, "Mom, what if we there's no more food?" Kasi 'di ba, they're I mean,
Wait,
'di ba,
nasaan ba siya? Which part in Palawan ba
in
siya?
El
El
Nido.
Nido?
El
He's an
Nido.
In the
environmental
town?
officer. Yeah. Yes,
Mhm.
he's an environmental officer there.
Oh,
Raymond, you wouldn't
So,
mind being stuck in Palawan,
okay.
would you?
Oo, but syempre,
I
I
don't
was a
mind.
bit worried. Ay, it's yeah, Palawan. And then you know that a lot of our stranded foreigners, so we had sweeper flights. A lot of them
Oh,
decided not to leave. Some are now in Palawan, some are in Siargao, some are in Dumaguete, and they opted to. They said, "Why will we go home? We're also in quarantine. While if I wake up
Yeah, that's
here,
it.
I'm in El Nido."
true.
Yeah.
No, but
Might
tama
as
sila.
well
I have
be in a
friends who are
beautiful
stranded
place.
yeah, I have friends stranded in Palawan and sabi nila, and these are the foreigners, sabi nila, if I go home to Spain, if I go home to Italy, they have a small apartment.
Oo.
Whereas in Palawan, they have open air and
Wide
they are more
open.
relaxed.
And
Yun nga
then,
lang,
and
Yeah.
diba, it's fresh air, zero COVID.
zero
And it's
COVID.
really naman beautiful naman. Palawan is just really fantastic. Either
So
El
you're
Nido, Coron, or Puerto Princesa. Everything is beautiful.
so yun ang mga go-to mo kasi nandun ang
Doon,
anak mo, the first
oo.
thing.
Although
Wala ka in
Batanes is
Palawan.
also, Batanes, maganda.
Hindi pa ako nakapunta dyan.
Ako
Oh,
rin, I've never
beautiful.
been.
Haven't
And do you
been
know
I've
there.
never
one thing
been.
about,
Wow.
you would want to go to Batanes, ang galing ng governor doon.
Bakit?
He actually limited the number of flights even before entering Batanes kasi ayaw niya ng over-tourism. So when
COVID-free
you
ba
Totoo.
siya, Tech? Is Batanes,
um
ano? Allowed?
very little. They're under GCQ, but quite little. But even
Yeah.
before, back 2018, sabi niya, masyado daw maraming, she wrote to us and asking kung pwede daw less flights because she wants na, yeah, you would be amazed because she wants the, parang,
Really?
the quality,
To preserve
to
the
preserve the environment.
Oo.
Kaya mabibilib ka rin dyan
Magaling.
talaga, ano. Magaling
Oo,
siya, no?
maganda yun ano.
And now, the more I
I
want
like
to
that.
go. Yeah, of course.
The more na bawal, the more na less flight, the more we all want to go and visit. Now, but there is a window to travel to Batanes. That's great, right? I mean, sabi na, the height of summer daw is the best time to go para at least hindi masyadong windy, hindi daw
Actually,
masyadong ano.
the best time to go is December, January. Malamig ang weather. It's sweater weather. It's super
Ah,
cold.
Malamig. Parang you're not in
pa,
the Philippines daw when you're there. In
Yeah, it's
Batanes.
so beautiful.
sabi
Yeah,
nga nila para daw
I have to go there.
Ireland, may nagsabi na
yeah. I'll
turista.
send you
Oo,
pictures. It's
ganon.
just the most. When you take pictures, hindi mo kailangan ng mga
Filter.
filter
Filter,
because
yeah.
everything is
Natural.
just beautiful. Ang problema mo lang doon, walang signal.
Okay lang yun. Kasi masyado na
Oo.
tayong
That's
nakadikit
nice
sa signal.
also.
Okay lang yun.
And then when you go to Batanes, you
Yeah.
have to be with people you really like or mag-isa because walang signal eh. So you really have to be either you want to be alone. And then I remember when I went to a hotel there, I said, "Oh, nasaan yung internet?" Natawa sila. Walang internet doon. It's back to basics, but it's the really one of the most beautiful I've been to. Isabela, actually, it's actually not too many people know. Isabela is actually so beautiful.
So, by
The
land
food
lang
is
yan, di ba? From
fantastic.
here.
Yes. No, you can go via Kawayan, Cebu Pacific, Kawayan.
There's
45
plane na.
minutes for
Oo.
every day. There's a flight every day.
Kasi by
Every
land, it's
day.
about 10 hours. I remember
But
my husband used to
10?
travel to Isabela. Yeah, by land.
you can
Before.
go Cebu
May
Pac,
plane na daw. May plane na.
45 minutes. I know because I normally do that Kawayan. Tapos about 1 hour na lang you're in Ifugao. That's the easiest
You
way
know what?
to go to the Cordilleras via
But
Kawayan.
road travel now seems to be a best option
Oh
kasi nga
yes, yes.
traveling by plane
Yeah.
is may ano pa tayo. But you know what? I will put that in my bucket list. Mirza Season is saying
Oh,
hi
hi
Berna.
Mirza.
Cheers.
Kaya nga, when
Hello,
will the
Mirza.
international tourists be allowed to return? What's your best guess?
Um, right
Best.
now, because Mirza, either they're not allowed to come home or there are travel restrictions there. Right now,
Uh-huh.
people now that are coming now are the Filipinos, OFWs,
Coming
OFs,
back.
or
Yeah.
those married. So right now we're still it's sad to say that we will be there are too many OFWs who have lost their job. They're coming
I
home.
know.
So,
Kawawa
hintayin
naman.
muna, yes, medyo marami-rami yung umuuwi.
Yeah.
So, but if you're married to a Filipino, pwede ka naman umuwi. But foreigners, hindi muna. But that Mirza, what we're looking at are what we mentioned to Raymond kanina, the travel corridors or the travel bubble. Now, let's say maybe, for example, Australia, they can maybe go directly to Bohol. So that's COVID-free to COVID-free.
Flight. Mhm.
Yun na muna.
Ah,
Mm-mm.
maganda
That,
Sana
yun. Ayun,
mangyari na
ay,
nga yan, Secretary Berna.
mm-mm.
Sana that's what we're really pushing for, especially the islands. Kasi,
Mm-mm.
yun na nga, may international airports and then
Yes.
it's COVID-free. And I think it's easier to manage from the LGU kasi, ano siya smaller and it's not, as long as the
Um,
protocols, the new normal are in place and
are in
consistently
place.
implemented
I
by the aside from LGU, the hotels, the airport,
I
I think
think what they're
sana,
all looking for is the testing lab, so that everybody
yeah,
Okay,
enters. That's
but
very important.
mm-mm,
is very ano. So now that I'm thinking about this, tama yung point of view that from COVID free place to the
Mm,
next destination which is COVID free, pwede yun because there
mm-mm.
is a there it's a logical rational ano, way of thinking.
Yeah.
However, now I feel bad because Manila is not COVID free.
But well, but soon, we still have domestic tourism, 'di ba? We still have,
Uh,
like, for example,
no,
the
but
people from NCR muna, pupuntan muna yan ng Tagaytay. Pupunta yan
correct,
ng
pwede pa yan.
Batangas, go diving.
yeah,
Hindi pa rin kasi what's so beautiful about our country, there's so many places to go to.
yeah,
It's not like
Oh,
we're here and then wala ka nang pupuntahan. So people now maybe might be those are afraid to travel by plane,
plane.
they'll go by
Yeah.
land.
mm-mm.
So
Yes,
we're
Pwede,
that's a
now
little by little,
priority.
baby steps.
baby steps, and I actually admired when the LGUs are cautious, because it means that when they accept, they're already ready. Like, for example, some LGUs, the tourist spots now, when you look at the floor, there'll be parang footprints where you're going to
Correct.
stand, because not naman everybody can measure what 1 meter is.
Mm-hmm.
Oo.
Natawa ako sa sinabi mo kasi naalala mo yun sa baggage claim natin. Pag sinabing don't go beyond the yellow line, lahat ng Pinoy lalong didikit doon sa
Kung
carousel ng
anong bawal,
baggage.
yun ang gagawin.
Oh,
Eh, kung anong bawal,
and
kaya
then
nga,
not too many people naman know what 1 meter is. They always say yung arm's length. Eh, what if pandak ako? O di hindi siya 1 meter. Hindi, di ba? So, that's kind of subjective, di ba? I mean, I don't know if
Yeah.
this is 1 meter, di ba?
hindi, tama ka. So, kung
So,
maliit ka, baka yung 1 meter, half a meter pa lang sa
half a
ibang
meter.
tao.
So, we'll have signs sa floor. Like, that's what we're going to do in Intramuros. And right now, you have important
Ah,
digital apps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
okay.
true.
Somebody gave us an app called Safe Pass. So what you do, for example, you want to go to Intramuros, you have to you log in and
Register.
then you
Yeah.
register.
Yeah,
So
you
yung
register
pwede
first.
lang mag-register doon for that, from, for example, 3 to 4. Ikaw lang yung allowed. And then before you register, you say, oh, you have a temperature, what's
Yeah.
yung ano. And then what if,
Ganon.
and then may mga foot markers na where you have to stand. That's very
Social
important.
distancing.
Social distancing. Tapos, let's
Social
say,
distance.
maybe a day or 2 days after yung nandoon, nagka-temperature or, God forbid, nagka-COVID, may contact
Nagka-COVID.
tracing ka na because you know already who was there from 3 to 4.
Correct. At least meron ng may records na tayo.
My records. And that's also what we're going to be doing. Mirza, listen to restaurants. Makinig ka, Mirza. It's voluntary to be accredited by the DOT restaurants. But once you're DOT
Really?
accredited, we will give you that app for free.
Oh, wow.
It's free already, the dine-in pass and the stay safe pass. So it also helps them regulate the number of people entering, my contact tracing, and they're able to enforce safety protocols.
Check, we can
Wait,
do that also in the
Oh,
hotels, the
yes,
restaurant
yes,
in the hotels.
we're giving it
Okay.
actually for even hotels. We're giving it for free as long as you're well. Now you have to
Okay.
be DOT accredited,
Yeah. Of course.
and you
parang
are
parang
DOT
gusto ko,
accredited.
Yes, yes. And
yeah.
then we have
Pa,
kasi this certification to open, 'di ba? After the guidelines were set
Certificate to operate.
to
Yes,
operate the hotels, which all our hotels are operating except Boracay. But the restaurant, is that a different certificate we have to get, like the rest for the rest, like
kasi
for
it's
the
an
restaurant,
outlet,
or
oo.
right.
it's
Kasi
it's the one of them?
whenever we look at the hotel naman, we also kasama na yung restaurant. So
So
kasama
hindi
na
na
yon.
kailangan. Okay, all in na siya.
Because
Okay.
restaurants are really part of the hotel. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's
You,
good.
So,
you
by
know,
the way, Raymond, libre ang accreditation, ha? We're not charging this
Yes.
year. We're not.
Mm.
And
And even the trips, 'di ba, and the forthcoming trade shows that we have,
yes,
DOT
for the
has
next
waived.
2 years, libre lahat.
Yes, so if we
pwede,
have mga
pwede
trade shows,
ma-accredit ang
yes,
studio
sila.
ko.
Di ka naman
It's,
hotel eh.
or ano our secondary
Tourist
is
spot.
oo,
Sabi ni Sec
pwede.
Berna, tourist spot. Eh,
But
marami naman akong
now
tourist
you
na mukha.
see contactless, all contactless. Parang even now, di ba, in restaurants, they tell you in advance to pay already
Correct.
online
Para
banking.
hindi
Yeah,
na,
online
ano,
payment.
Nobody gives cash anymore. Di ba?
GCash
Holds
or
it.
PayPal, yeah.
Yan.
meron.
Ngayon lang ako
Oo.
natutong online banking, Raymond. Ngayon lang.
Ay, pareho tayo. Same here, Sec. Ako nga,
Pero mas
no
magastos.
choice.
Mas magastos
Bakit,
pala.
bakit
Mas
mas
madali
magastos
eh.
sa'yo?
Madaling
Kasi
mag-spend.
yung pera kasi when it's in your wallet, makikita mo kung medyo manipis na, hindi ka
Ayaw
nagagastos.
mo
Ito,
na. Oh.
parang wala. You're trigger
Nagla.
happy eh. Oo.
Ay, alam ko na yan. Bakit ka ganyan? Meron kang history ng Farmville.
Yes. Nako,
Kaya ka
Carmela.
ganyan.
Oo, nauna
Farmville,
kong nakilala yung
Pamangkin
kanyang
ko.
pamangkin. How old is Eduardo now?
Eduardo, how old are you
Okay.
now? 22 years old na siya ngayon. Kalaro mo siya nung bata siya.
Alam ko siya nung 12 years old siya.
12 years old nga.
Do you know that I still play
Mga
Pokemon
5
Go
years
now?
ago lang.
Pokemon Go. I still play Pokemon Go now.
Kaya nga,
Yes,
there are so
daming
many things about you na naaaliw kami because you're not the typical. I'm being honest here. You're not the typical leader or person of authority na hanggang dito lang pag-usapan natin, and you just really give out this information, and we're like, seryoso to? This is such a breath of fresh air that we're talking to a real person
yeah.
finally.
And si
No
Secretary
offense.
Burns, she answers Instagram. I
Oh.
were Instagram follower, and then I greeted her Mother's Day. She really replies and
Ang
acknowledge.
tiyaga mo rin, ha,
You know,
Bern?
Carmela, kanina, somebody
Daming
texted me, and then I said, hi, and then he goes, is this Maia? Maia's my daughter. I go, no, this is me. Huh? Tapos parang in other words, sabi niya, you're old already and you answer. Sabi ko, oo naman siguro. Akala siguro yung old. Oo, that's also a way for me. Sometimes like they take pictures and they send it to me. And then I get to know if somebody's violating something. And may picture
Correct.
it's also a way for me to find out if it, may mga violators. It's actually good. With Instagram, naman with social media, you can either, you take the good and the bad at the same time, but
yeah.
you can just choose to take the good.
And I
It's
guess
true.
also, Raymond, with this ECQ, we have so much time for social media now, 'di ba? Every time na lang, you want to know what's happening, you want to look, there's so many webinars, ang dami-daming oras. So,
Pero
Nagiging
sobra na rin
toxic
yung
na.
webinar, no? And then
ay, oo,
Raymond, do you know that
daming
ang
webinar.
ang
Up to a year
mice
with webinars.
ang mice namin now, because we don't know kasi when we're going, mice is meeting incentives conventions exhibit. Right
Okay.
now, it might be now virtual, parang hybrid
Virtual mice,
virtual.
yeah.
For the meantime, while there's no vaccine. So I just
Well,
attended at the Arabian Travel Mart a few days ago, and it's virtual na now.
Virtual.
so they're pushing also Arabian travel now. Kasi you guys are talking already.
Mm-mm.
Who
Okay,
was
that's
it?
nice to hear. That's nice to.
Secretary. How was the virtual mice? That's the first yata that
Um,
we had,
it
no?
was it was the first. It gave me ideas.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of good articles, good webinars, but parang it gives us
Uh,
an idea on how we can do ours
Mm-hmm.
in the future. But it was really the first, and I really admire the organizers that they,
Mm-hmm.
tinuloy pa rin nila. Alam mo, tama sila eh. Don't keep canceling.
Mm-mm.
Tuloy, like for example, Carmela, you were able to
Business
talk
as
to your
usual.
Australian partners because of
Yeah,
this.
in the
This
webinar, yes.
COVID does not stop you from talking to your partners or
Mm-mm.
in other countries. In fact, we're going to have that every year, every week.
Every
So you're going to talk to your partners abroad to see also the pwede na ba kayo mag-travel, what are your restrictions, etc.
oo.
It allows you to be in touch with everybody. You do not limit yourself because of the quarantine.
business as usual. And even I also attended your European kina Jerry Pang webinar.
Yes.
And then they had also Korean. There's a lot of webinars actually from Department of Tourism. So it's business as usual in just a different mode, which is
It's
virtual
yeah,
now. Yeah.
which is
Mhm.
ano now, which
Business as
actually
usual.
mas maraming ang trabaho ngayon if you think about it because now
Yes.
ah,
Correct.
Yes, di ba?
kawawa kay kawawa
Now,
kayo
Raymond,
because
Ang
now
dami.
you need content every day. Diba? That's
you're telling me
also,
that
diba?
I am
Like
I am
Nakakapagod din. Yeah.
Oh, Raymond, if I can share, like in our marketing, in our hotels, mas busy ngayon ang marketing because everybody has to have content in their like since March, and I know every Wednesday we have a meeting for what's gonna be the content in our social media pages. So we had Chroma Home stories about instilling positivities in the home, following the government, stay home, but positively by ang dami kasing realizations when people were home, eh, 'di ba? They got closer to their kids, they had time for garden, cooking, baking. So
Ang
we
daming
launched
naging
that
home cooks
program.
ngayon, no?
Oo. And then
ikaw
after
ano
that,
sec
iisip ka na naman.
No,
Yeah.
kasi we were so busy with work and no time to bake
to
or
cook. Oo nga,
cook.
sabagay napaka-busy ka na. Okay, I will give you time to rest muna just a little bit but we will greet Nalin as
Nalin.
Acacio from Malaysia. Wow, they're actually tuned in. Maraming
Ang dami
maraming
mong
nanonood from
international,
different
ah.
countries.
Wow.
I know na ano ko. There here is one. Si Candice is our one of our our loyal viewers. I heard that for one to travel from Cebu to Manila, one has to get a permit from the barangay confirming that the person traveling is COVID free. This takes 2 weeks to process. Will this be a process from to
Um,
modify?
this is actually what we were, that this was our meeting, which I had to leave because of this. We were talking to,
Sorry, Candice, hindi ka masasagot ngayon.
no,
Sorry
no,
ka
no,
talaga,
because
kasalanan
different
ko.
LGUs have their own requirements.
Okay.
Dapat nga ideally from GCQ to GCQ, you can also already travel, but the different LGUs, some are hesitant. Syempre, because they have to be careful. So,
True.
dapat ideally under a modified GCQ scheme, you can be free to travel already. But of course, it's availability of the airline protocols also, etc.
Uh-huh.
But that was our meeting. We were talking to all the different governors and mayors from all over the country. That
The
was our
country.
meeting. Yeah, but we were supposed, no, Raymond, we were supposed to start at 3, eh. So we started at 4, kaya umabot sa
Ah,
interview. It's
ba
not your yeah.
no, biyahe pa rin. What if biglang may pinag-usapan na hindi mo na ano.
No,
But then
somebody
again,
will call. Yeah. Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
sabihin ko na lang, thank you Ace for that.
Si Ace, the
Okay.
excellent.
May mga questions sila that minsan nahiya sila, they're afraid to ask you and here are the questions that they want to ask you actually. Being in the position where you are right now, the first question they want to know is ano yung mga pet peeve mo when you travel? Ano yung mga ayaw na ayaw mo? I mean, normally like all of us we hate lining up for securities and so you as a travel for tourism you experience so much more than we do because you travel
Mm.
more than us I presume, right?
Mm-mm.
What are the
Um,
things that you really don't like when you travel
Long
personally?
uh,
lines.
I'm always kasi traveling so I'm kind of used to all the delays. I've already experienced even domestic 4 or 5 hour delays. So I'm already prepared. I have my iPad with all my movies. So nothing really disturbs me anymore. I travel light. I never check in. So kasi
Oh,
pampatagal din, I everything is in my hand carry. I never check in. And then, for example, delayed yung flight, then okay. And then I just watch iPad or I do my work. You adjust already. It's like traffic. We learn to adjust to traffic. It's already a reality. And with
ah,
traveling domestic,
Magagawa naman eh.
wala ka na rin magagawa. Pag uminit ang ulo mo, hindi naman mag-on time yung flight. 'Di ba you have to learn
totoo
how to,
yan.
'di ba? You have to learn how to just take it, when you're traveling, ganun talaga you learn how to adjust. And kahit na magalit ka naman sa bakit delayed, hindi naman niya mapapabilis,
Hindi naman
'di ba? Or
mabilis.
kung may
Kahit
engine
magalit ka dun
trouble,
sa
oo, wala naman mangyayari. So,
Stress ka lang.
mas
You just have
stress ka
lines.
lang. You learn how to just,
Pangit ka
yung,
lang.
whenever you travel, you just have to be prepared that it's going to be delayed. Ganun lang yon.
alam mo,
Manage
dapat we have to hear
expectations.
these things from you. Grabe ka. I mean, a lot of people, ano ba, meron pa ako pupuntahan. Minsan sumasagot na nga yung mga tao sa check-in counter, sir, mas safe ho na madelay tayo kaysa bumagsak ang eroplano.
Yes.
Wala akong pakialam kung
Yes.
bumagsak. Di ba?
Yes. Kung may engine trouble, wala tayong magagawa. Oo,
Ay,
kasi
nako.
crash. Oo.
True. But some people don't have EQ, so hindi na comprehend yun. So
Oh,
I have the right to bash some of our people here kasi hindi sila makakaganti sa akin eh. Ikaw, I will protect you from the ano. Hello, Che from Dubai. Alam mo, sabi sa'yo, they're weird yung oras ng mga tao. They still tune in. I appreciate this, Che, that you're still tuned in from Dubai. Uh,
Ang dami
Ang
mong
daming mga
fans.
comment. Ay, SOS. Can I put this on the screen? What's this? Kay Nanette. Si Nanette
SOS.
from Boracay.
you need some easy
Ah,
access. Oh, okay.
SM Hotels.
Okay.
oh,
Yesterday, dapat magsa-third reading na today. We were supposed to be given a 10 billion fund, care of Senator
okay.
Sani Angara for the Recover as One. So we're waiting for that 10 billion fund. Those are working capital loans, zero interest. But hindi napasa ng Senado. But we also have in the PESA bill, the stimulus
Uh,
bill, we asked for 58 billion. Basically, that's working capital loan. Siguro
uh,
5 years or even more to pay, guarantee and 0% loan, 0% interest. So because nung
alam mo,
nagkaroon
kasi
ng
nga,
Hilas One, most of our, halos lahat ng pera namin, and alam ni Carmela yan, that all the TIEZA budget were all given to the
uh,
government. So actually, yung natira na lang budget sa DOT now is pang sweldo lang ng mga tao. Because we had to give it all.
aray. Oo.
In a way, okay na rin because it helped the COVID, to make COVID facilities.
Oo nga, may
So
mga
we
ano naman eh.
nakita naman namin kung saan napunta. Kinunang kami ng pera, all basically. So we're now going to rely on sana the 10 billion fund that Senator Sani Angara. We would like to thank him over and over again. He was the one who allotted 10 billion para daw ngayon,
Wow.
makatulong ngayon pa lang sa ating the hotel industry. But I'm not sure if, I'm sure Crimson was able to avail of the DOF, the Small Business Subsidy
Yes.
wage. You
The
were able that,
employees.
the
All our
employees were able,
hotels. Yes. Even me. Thank you so much. We
see,
all
and
got
that you're going to get a
subsidy.
second tranche.
Yes,
That
we
was
got the
first,
Wow.
tranche.
oh,
Yes. It's a total of 16,000. First was 8 and then second tranche is 8,000.
mm.
Some I think depends on if it's SSS or DSWD, may the amounts
Yeah. Yung
differ.
SSS was more efficient, more of they gave it to the employers
Correct. Yeah.
and then contactless. May camp, yung camp
Yeah.
mga nakapag-avail would only be 14,500. Pero yung DOF, SSS, the ones that able to avail were 630,000, worth 4.9 billion. First
Ang,
tranche.
ang dami no,
Yeah.
nakakaagad.
At least
Wait,
yes.
Yeah, ang laking tulong niya. Si Miss Nenet, the one that I flashed earlier, is from Boracay. She's also a friend of mine. She runs also a hotel. Wait, Carmela, that's one of the things that because mostly
Yeah.
in tourism, ang first affected also other than the airline industry is the hotel industry. Are you
Mm-mm.
guys prepared already to take in tourists? Is there a new norm that you guys are gearing up with?
Yeah.
Preparation for this?
Yes, actually, Raymond, the hotels have been preparing, and I think at this point are already implementing this new normal. Of course,
Okay.
following the guidelines from Department of Tourism on the new guidelines like the thermal temperature,
Uh-huh.
the the in for our group for Crimson and Quest hotels, we have this new campaign, the culture of clean, which we launched I think last week of May. So the culture of clean is our
Mm.
program that to initiate to all our guests, to assure all our guests and clients that when they come to the hotel, we have all these enhanced and
Malinis
hygiene,
lahat, oo.
malinis lahat. In fact, actually yung enhanced and sanitation, ano naman yan eh, that's
Hindi
not
ba
new to
normal
the
naman
hotel.
'yun?
Normal
Oo.
naman siya. Pero so what we do, what we call it now is just to enhance it. Like for example, in our amenities, instead of just the usual lotion, soap, now we have hand sanitizer as part of the amenities,
As part of
and then
ay,
the wipes, and then the
may
mask.
magandang
It's not part of
may
the
mga gano'n.
yeah,
Um, like
Ah,
may mga ganon.
may mga gano'n. Yes, Secretary.
And then yeah,
Well, that was part of our safety protocols that we gave to all
yes,
the hotels
the
that they have to
hotels.
follow minimum health
Oh,
standards. And now our standards now, it's not only the DOT that crafted the standards. It had to pass through the Department of Health,
of health
and this
also.
was according to
Correct.
WHO standards and worldwide standards. So now when we look at standards accreditation of hotels, you don't only look at the normal process, but you have to look at
The
health and
usual.
sanitation. So for example, before when you go to a hotel, they give you a welcome drink. Ngayon, ang ibibigay would be hand
Bottled
sanitizer,
water.
face mask,
Yeah.
iba na ngayon. And syempre,
Iba
they
na
have
ang
to put the temperature. But
Yan yung new normal.
maybe in a way, it's also good because at least alam mong malinis na malinis talaga yung hotel.
There and
Yeah.
they kind of have priorities over the health nga. Wait, ito yung magandang I have three screens in front of me kasi people cannot comment sometimes and yung iba nahihiya, and one of the funny comments here is that naku, paano yan, this is also sis, the question is towards Carmela and the hotel owners rin, ay not owners, operating hotels. Sabi nila,
Mhm.
paano ngayon mga buffet ng breakfast kasi diyan daw
Mm,
nagkaroon ng contamination sa Thailand because of the
mm.
buffets. So, mawawala na ang mga buffet natin sa hotel ngayon, ganun ang
Well,
mangyayari?
Well, yeah, right now the buffets are gone. What we do is the usual a la carte, and right now the F&B outlets in the hotels are not all operating. So we're pushing on bento boxes. We just try to be creative in terms of
Hmm,
kahit naman bento box or a la carte, you still have options. Pero wala na yung buffet na nakahalyera lahat dyan yung pagkain, because of course that's one way of the contamination. We may go to the managed buffet eventually, but right now in our hotels, buffets are gone, and it's just really a la carte and delivery. We're doing a lot of food deliveries. So yan yung bagong normal sa business ng hotels. Food deliveries, room service, but right now we just put it outside. Hindi na siya papasok
No,
ng
hindi pa
kwarto.
pwedeng room service ngayon, Carmela, ha?
Not room service, yung
Oh,
secretary,
sorry
kung
ha.
halimbawa,
Oo, ako yung nagre-regulate sa iyo
yeah,
eh.
sorry.
Oo.
ah,
Oo, oo, oo.
Not
Bawal
room
pa ha.
service. Yung yung for example sa Tagaytay, the people that we have there, the repatriates, meron silang dinadala yung food sa
Ay, ay,
labas
ay,
ng
ay, ay.
landor.
sa
Kasi
labas na, parang yung
they
ginagawa
have
sa
to
mga
eat.
barangay natin.
Oo,
Kasi they
oo.
have to eat
Um,
naman, 'di ba? Hindi mo na nga pinapalabas ng kwarto, hindi mo papapakita.
Correct, correct. Sa
So,
labas,
it's
sa labas.
being brought outside. That's what I was saying. It is just being brought outside the
Mm.
room na.
Oo, oo.
Akala ko na, baka
Yusek
nag-violate
R,
tayo.
kung napanood mo yung certificate to operate,
Wait,
Yeah, because
ito
that's
talaga mga viewers,
one of our
yung mga,
regulations talaga, wag munang
okay.
buffet. But we'll see.
Wala, wala,
Mamaya,
wala
mamaya.
talagang buffet. Bawal yan, super bawal.
Nakakatawa yung audience natin, Sec and Carmela, because sabi ko buffet, ang sagot naman nila, wala nang smorgasbord.
Smorgasbord.
Nako,
Lumang
ang
term na yan.
smorgasbord, napaka-70s na halata
Oo,
ko, age
oo.
bracket
Ano
natin
yun, parang
lang.
jerkul,
Smorgasbord.
jerkul. 'Di ba? Or
Hindi,
ano? Oo, 'di ba yung ano
Smorgasbord.
parang
Di ko na
disco,
naabutan ng
disco.
Raymond eh.
Diyos ko,
Wait,
dahil.
smorgasbord is like buffet, no?
Buffet, smorgasbord is buffet.
I think that's
Yan,
the
lumaki
term they
ako, yan
used
ang sinasabi
before.
ng nanay ko, oh, smorgasbord daw tayo. Sabi ko, ang tanda ha, smorgasbord ha.
Oo, 'di ba Raymond, they
Luma
would
na
say,
siya.
"Bara grabe, ang porma mo is puting.
Sputing
Nakabalat,
ka.
nakabalat pa."
Nako, anyway, wait.
Mga
Okay,
70s.
this is a form of a fast question, secretary, because I won't keep you any longer. It's past the permitted time, and I know you're busy also. I will ask you fast questions that people have submitted, and they're very interesting because they want to see you answer as yourself, not as the Secretary of Tourism. Ewan ko kung mahiwalay niya yun. Pero here are the questions. I will give it to you right now. What are the 5 travel essentials that you actually put in your bag when you travel?
Cetaphil lotion, anti-lamok, hand sanitizer, face mask, and the fifth, cellphone.
Of course. Tsaka na po yung visa at at passport kasi given na po yun. Next question. Ano ang favorite comfort food mo in the Philippines?
Sisig.
Ay, you're a meat
Wow.
eater pala ha.
I'm
Person
allergic
you want to be you're
to
allergic to what?
seafood.
Ay, sayang. With
Oo.
so many islands na that can offer all this variety, allergic ka sa seafood.
Oo.
Oh, we didn't know that. Oh, so mga kaibigan, pag dumalaw po si
So,
Secretary Berna
meat
sa inyo,
lover.
wala akong seafood
Oo.
at
Oo.
sisig lang at baboy ang pwede natin pakain.
Oo.
Kung pwede maglechon, ihanda
Lechon.
natin ang lechon, magpapatay ng baboy, ganoon. Next question. Person you want to be stranded in an island.
My children. Pwede
Woo!
bang ano? Or, pero kung hindi family, si Yunbin.
Nat- natawa natawa ako doon. So obviously without asking the question, you've been watching the Korean series
Oh
na rin.
yeah, I've been watching Korean novelas for the past
Netflix.
10 years.
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh. Oo, I love Korean novelas. Boys Over Flowers pa, Coffee
Oh my God.
Prince.
Konti lang nakakaalam yata ng Voice Over Flowers. Ang
Oo,
luma
'di
na
ba?
nun, ha?
'Di ba? Oo, 'di ba yung mas ano pa nun si Lee Min Ho, F4. 'Di ba
Yes. Oh,
Taiwanese? Ginaya lang ng
no,
Boys Over
Sorry, hindi
Flowers.
ako makarelate.
Tapos sa Hara Donggi Nori yung Japanese. Oh my God, I really watch. So
sayang si Alex.
Si Yoon Bin.
So
Magsasama kami sa buhay.
hindi siya talaga makakapunta dito, yun ang sinasabi mo.
Hindi pa. But kaya inaayos
Try
na
mo
natin
next
yung
year.
travel corridor between Korea and Bohol or Korea and
Pa,
Boracay.
para
Boracay.
makapunta siya sa Pilipinas at ikaw ang
Oo, 'di ba?
unang-unang
Cross our fingers.
Kasi baka ayaw pa sa NCR, dodalhin natin siya sa isang island. Eh di ba 'yun ang tanong mo?
Oo, yun tama ka naman doon. May point ka.
Sino
May
kasama
point
sa
ka naman doon
island?
sa question. Hindi naman ako pero may point ka naman doon.
Oo,
Okay, wish list or bucket list that you want to improve. Nako, may 3 categories. First, bucket list or wish list you want to improve in traveling. Nothing bad, but something that you still want to be improved in traveling here in the Philippines.
flights are on time.
Okay? Yun
Mm-mm.
ang top of the list mo.
Oo, top of the
Wish list
time. Yeah.
Wish list mo in your life right now.
In my life, I just want my children to be successful because my daughter's 24, my son's 23. They're just starting out there. So I just want, because di ba, I'm a widow. I've been a widow for 10
Yes.
years. So I just
10
want
years na.
what's best. 10 years na, no? So I just want what's
Oo.
best for them. Kaya pwede na kami ni Yoon Bin, single rin siya, di ba?
Talaga naman.
hindi, hindi, hindi ako, nawawala,
Kailangan,
nawawala yung
kailangan
listahan ko pag
bumisita yan
natatawa
dito
ako
sa
sa'yo.
Philippines.
I have so much list
You
here
have to
for
bring
to
him
ask you
here.
at wala. you are driving me crazy, but in a good way. Last two questions. Is it true that leadership is genetic? You come from a long line of people who have been in office, and you are still giving out good response despite the ano. Is this an exerted effort that you've learned from your uncle or something like that, or
Yeah,
is this just innate?
no,
Great
because
uncle, rather.
my grand uncle, my
Yes.
father, parang even my brother, you see how they've really protected the name. So, syempre, you won't do anything that will tarnish the reputation or the family.
Mm-mm.
So you have to
But you
do what
grew.
is right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I heard you. I know I've seen and heard you in so many interviews, and that is the one thing that's consistent about you're saying is that there is integrity in the office, that you always want to make sure that everything is good, and I appreciate that, because minsan nahuli ko yung mga ibang politicians when they do different interviews, they say different things, and you are very consistent about
Consistent.
that. Thank
Thank
you about that.
you.
That's true.
Last question. What do you want the audience to take away from this little chikahan that we have today?
I want them now to, well, since this is tourism, no, I really stay at home first when it's possible, when you can, and
Mm-mm.
just post all your beautiful pictures of the Philippines and
I will do that.
encourage everybody to buy local, promote local, so we can support all those that have lost their jobs. My takeaway is the Philippines is really the most beautiful country in the world with the best people. We can all speak English. The best food, best fruits, and COVID really hit us hard, and it's just for us to support local, support domestic, promote
Yeah,
domestic.
true.
What's your advice as a mother? You've experienced the quarantine. You've experienced yourself being quarantined for 21 without your kids, and your son is also in Palawan. As a mother, how did this affect you? That's the last question before we let you go.
Ah, well, my daughter was with me, but my son, it's more of when you're in quarantine and you don't know what's really going to happen. Because even now with COVID, we really don't know what's going to happen. The only
Mm.
people that matter to you are your children. The That's it. It simplifies
Family.
things. When before you thought that you needed so many things, but at the end of the day, all you want is for your children to be safe. That's it. It simplifies everything.
And
True,
I will
agree.
tell you why that's important, Secretary
Mhm.
Burns, because if you are ruled or governed, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to listen to this. If a person is ruled by that kind of self motherly instinct of protecting their children, when that person is in office, that can be transferred to us, and I think that's the reason why Secretary Burns is so successful and well loved in her position right now as Department of
Yeah.
Tourism, is because she actually reflects the same thing to the people she works with, the people she interacts with, and
Mm.
that's why I'm surprised there's so many people asking for help in the comment section. I wish I could put you all on comment, but we're limited time for this. Kung gusto nyo, we can request for a part two.
Mm.
Maybe, maybe when she's not busy, she might say yes again. Carmela, you want to say something before we end?
Nothing, a pleasure to be here, Raymond. Of course, with Secretary Berna. So, flattering to be at the same show in your show with Secretary Berna. And yeah, the situation now is I think we just have to be patient and work together, like the hashtag of DOT, hashtag we heal as one. So on our part, our hotels, we are doing everything we can to get back to normal, to the follow the new normal. And of course, we look forward to the time when we can all travel again and see each other again in our hotels, in all the hotels in the Philippines, of course, in Crimson and the Quest hotels. And looking forward to see you, Raymond, in Crimson Mactan. Remember?
I want to travel na rin, Cebu. That's
Right.
why I'm asking,
Yes.
nga
Correct.
eh.
Yes.
I miss it. You
Correct.
know what? I
Photographer
need to
namin
end this
yan eh.
because nahiya na ako si Secretary Burns. Pero Teddy Dario said maybe the DOT can also work hand in hand
Yeah.
with local film, TV industry to use them as magnets for foreign tourists like Korean music or K-pop or films or TV, because they
Yes.
do
Mm. Yeah,
So
we are currently talking, yes. Yes,
yeah,
to allow.
I think they are. They're planning. Actually, you know what? Even without the DOT, I think I can jump into this point na we don't need to wait for them. We can promote our own. Kasi we have the
Tayo,
access
mga
in
nasa yan.
internet.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I mean, it's always nice that we bring in what did you say, Secretary? Trillions or billions just for tourism alone?
Domestic is alone 1.9
Domestic.
trillion.
Oo.
Imagine that. And then, as usual, I feel good because according to Mary Grace Ramos, I'm so happy parang nag-start na po ang online classes
Online
ko
class.
dito parati sa inyo. No, we have to say thank you, Carmela. Thank you again, Secretary
And then
Berna.
Raymond, I just want to add, Raymond,
Go
if
for
I
it.
just want to add, no, talking about the domestic travel, we will release the survey, domestic sentiment travel survey that we did with the Department of Tourism, TPB, and the associations tonight or tomorrow, and the results are very very encouraging. Secretary Berna, if you see the report tomorrow,
Mm,
domestic travel is really the way to go to jumpstart our business in the
mm.
hospitality industry. And you will see the results. The demographics, the millennials are dying to go out,
Yeah,
dying
it's
to travel
millennials.
domestically. Yeah, the millennials.
Actually,
Raymond,
RTO.
tayo.
Anong
Millennials.
tayo?
Mga millennials.
Ayoko mag ayoko magkunwari kasi baka sabihin nila ano eh. Ito na naman
Trying.
ako, pinipilit ko na naman ang sarili ko. But
Yeah.
thank you again.
No, thank you,
Secretary,
Raymond. Thank you. It's a pleasure to
no,
be
I'm
invited
so
by
glad.
you.
Sayang wala rin si Art, but Art is a friend also. I met him when he was still in,
Yeah.
anong hotel ulit yung Carmela?
Marco
Marco
In
Polo.
Davao?
Polo.
He's a
Marco
hotelier
Polo.
by heart. Kaya
Yeah.
very close yan sa amin sa mga hotel, sa
Yeah, art
HSME, si
art
Art.
is wonderful. That's why when I really got him as my USEC in charge of all the TRCRG of all the
Yes,
hotels because he gets
right.
it. He gets it.
Correct. Kasi
Art, I hope
hotelier
you're
siya.
watching because I want to interview you next time naman. So,
Oo.
please don't leave. I'm just gonna say goodbye to these people and then don't forget next tomorrow we're talking about anti-terrorism bill again. So sa mga taong
Ah,
galit na galit at walang ginawa ko hindi mag-post, bukas mag-usap tayo. Gugulin ko rin ang buhay niyo bukas. Don't go away. I'm just gonna say goodbye.